I'm Autumn Marie, and you're watching Buster XR Johnson on YouTube. Alright, so after working for Simon, what's the next chapter? Where we go from there?
Oh, shit.
Because I feel like that's probably a big part of your
Okay,
story.
Simon, work for Simon. He put the belt on me, the CWF belt. So, actually, when his stuff ended, I was still the CWF champion.
So you're still CWF reigning champion?
His CWF,
Yeah.
not the Fullers. But, you know, even at the time, I didn't register that even, you know, that it wasn't the same CWF.
Yeah.
Our people looked at it different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Simon then hooked us up with Butch Reed. Took us to Missouri to do some shows with Butch Reed, Bob Orton Jr., which is Randy Orton's daddy.
Yeah.
Mad Dog from the Bruise Brothers were there. A couple other guys there. Vladimir Koloff was there. He took us to Missouri, and man, Simon, look, the first time I'm ever around Butch Reed, and look, I have no idea. The one thing Simon didn't do either was a whole lot of smartening us up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're smart to how the matches work, but not smart to the business as far as the lingo. And when you first start hearing this shit, it's like you don't even understand it. It's like a foreign language
Right.
to you. If you've never been exposed to it, it's a foreign language, and you hear. Back in then, two wrestlers could get together in public and have a conversation about wrestling, and regular people could be hearing this and not understand a word of it.
Yeah.
They'd leave there thinking, "What the fuck are them people talking about?" Because it sounds like you just don't understand it.
Yeah.
You just don't understand it. Now everybody kind of knows it, so that's kind of dead.
Yeah.
But he takes us to not St. Louis. I think the first match was in Malden, Missouri, maybe.
Yeah.
But Butch Reed is running the show. So we get there. The dressing room's upstairs, if I'm thinking right. Go into the dressing room. He takes us in, introduces us to Butch, and you know, I'm starstruck. I mean, I'm trying to hide it, but it's Butch Reed.
Yeah.
You're gonna put them. See, The Rock talks about the soup bones, but the soup bones come from Butch Reed in my world.
Yeah.
You know, that's a rerun. Butch Reed used to talk about the soup bones. So I'm sitting there across from Butch Reed, and there's several guys in there, Simon too, and he's starting to kind of go over the show, and he looks at me dead in the eyes and said, "Can you work?" I don't know what the fuck work means. Have no idea what work means. I don't even say nothing because I don't understand.
Yeah.
He said, "Can you work?" Again, I just stare him in his eyes. I never break eye contact with him, look him dead in the eyes, but don't say a word. He said, "Can you work?" And I still don't say that. Finally, he screamed. He said, "Can you work?" And then Simon spoke up and said, Yeah, I've been working with him. He's gonna do fine." And I mean, you talking about, I was ready to scream, "Yeah, motherfucker, what do you want me to do? Move some shit, set up some chairs?" Because I didn't understand what work meant.
Yeah.
When you said work, and maybe that's why I didn't say nothing, because in my head I'm thinking, I'm here to wrestle. I don't know about this work shit, you know?
Yeah.
I got into this shit so I wouldn't have to work, you know? So we meet Butch. To get that out of the way, I think me and Simon worked Bobby and Mark Shannon that night. Matter of fact, we did work them, and Motley Cruz, this is the first night I ever met Motley Cruz, he
Yeah.
was the referee.
Really?
Motley was the referee. Explain that.
I can't explain that.
And look, I'm still green, and I wrestle the way I was trained. Like, I'm not in there trying to hurt people, but I'm physical as fuck. I'm a big kid. I'm strong. I'm stiff, but I'm not trying to hurt people. I hadn't learned to make it look as good without it being as rough yet as it can be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm in there and I'm fucking wearing Bobby Shannon and Mark Shannon out, fucking forearms, and I'm just picking them up, slamming them around and shit, to the point where Simon is leaning in the ring going, y'all all right? Y'all all right? See, I don't know nothing about asking somebody, are they all right, or anything.
Yeah.
You cool when you pick them up, you know? You all right? Yeah, I'm ready, let's go. I don't know nothing about that. Nothing at all. So I'm just fucking doing what I've been taught to do.
Yeah.
Sapphire was there. Sapphire was ring announcer. She was there. So we have the match. The one thing I definitely remember about the match is I pick up Bobby Shannon and I slam him in the middle of the ring and I hit the rope and I go to drop an elbow. I misgauge the elbow. So when I go to drop the elbow, instead of it being an elbow, I just take a fucking flat back bump on top of Bobby. Like just squish him. And Bobby, he said, ooh, that looks stiff. Which I didn't even know what stiff meant.
Right.
They're talking and I don't understand none of this shit. Really in my head, I'm just ready to get this shit over with and get out of the ring, you know, because my mind's doing 90 miles an hour and it's just chaos.
Yeah.
In my head, it's like, not the action, but the communication.
Yeah.
You know, the communication. And then Simon's yelling at him, y'all all right? Y'all all right? He's on the outside of the ring waiting for a tag. Y'all all right? And I'm like, damn. You know, and then Mark Shannon, I take him, hit him with a snapmare and reverse chin lock him. And I guess I'm snug, a little too snug, and he's going, lighten up. I don't know what the fuck lighten up means. I have no idea what lighten up means. Lighten up. I don't know. I just got a good snug chin lock on his ass.
Choked him out.
He goes, lighten up or I'm going to stretch you. In which how I don't know what stretch means. How I didn't understand the word stretch, I'll never know.
Yeah.
But I didn't even understand that. Lighten up or I'm going to stretch you. And I could tell he was getting agitated. So I didn't understand none of what he was saying. I didn't even understand lighten up. I mean, truthfully.
Yeah.
I mean, how dumb you got to be to not understand lighten up. But in my head, it never clicked. You know?
Yeah.
It never clicked together. And it, lighten up or I'm going to stretch you. So there comes a point where in my head, I start thinking, well, motherfucker, if you're going to stretch me, stretch me. So I don't lighten up. I keep that shit on snug. And then we finished the match like that. I didn't lighten up. I mean, I didn't try to hurt him or nothing, but there comes a point where it kind of started pissing me off because even though I didn't understand it, his body language, I could tell that he was agitated.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can tell when somebody a little want to kick your ass.
Yeah.
So, didn't understand none of it, but I understood the body language. So we finished the match. We go to the dressing room, and in the dressing room, motherfucker, what is your problem? He said, you need to learn to lighten up. And I still didn't understand. You know, I guess in his head, he didn't understand that I didn't understand.
Right.
Because it's the first time I've ever met them either, I'm pretty sure. If it wasn't, I hadn't met them but a show or so before that. I want to say it's the first time I'd actually met Bobby and Mark.
Yeah.
So, you know, you need to learn to lighten up. Somebody's going to stretch you out there. I still didn't understand stretch. But in my head, I'm thinking, fuck you. You know, you want to do something because, I mean, I'm young. I don't understand the business. And I ain't above fighting, especially at that time.
Yeah.
You want to do something, we'll do something. Quit talking about it, do something, motherfucker. I didn't say that, but in my head, I'm thinking, motherfucker, shut up and do something if you want to do something. You know, you don't want to get heat, but you don't really know what to do because you didn't understand.
Right.
Anyway, apparently Butch loved it. So we get to the dressing room. Mark does his thing. And then out of nowhere, he just kind of stops and says, don't worry about it. It'll be all right. And after that, I mean, we were cool with them dudes. Worked them, ain't no telling how many times.
Yeah.
We were back on the next Bush show. And I won't say the next one was maybe in Sykeston, Missouri. And which Bob Orton Jr. was there, which Sam had to referee one night. The referee didn't show up. First time Sam ever refereed, we both green as hell, so he got the referee. I want to say it's Vladimir Koloff and Bob Orton Jr. So he's in the ring, and Sam's starstruck by Bob Orton Jr.
I can
So their match is going on. It comes time for the finish, and Bob Orton hits the finish, and he covers Koloff. And Sam's just standing in the middle of the ring. They're kind of in the corner a little bit, more to the corner with Bob covering him, and Sam just standing there staring at him, just looking at him. Bob looking up at him, got the duck down for the pin. I mean, it's been 7-8 seconds now, 7-8 seconds is a long time at that point, You're like, finally, Bob looks up and yells at him and says, "Are you going to count the fucking pin?" So then Sam kind of snaps out of it, 1, 2, 3, counts the pin. He comes to the back, and Bob Orton kind of did the same thing that Mark did. He started to jump on Sam. He come to the back, and he said something, but then out of nowhere, just immediately when he said it, because I was standing there with Sam, and we were both looking at Bob, and Bob, he went to say something, and he said, then he kind of, I think it hit him that, how green we were.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, don't worry about it." He said, "It's already over." He said, "You'll get better at it." And then Butch spoke up and said, "You better not fuck up my match." And then everybody laughed, and after that, we worked several, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 months working on Butch Reed run shows.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be the second stint. But without Simon, we wouldn't have got there. He got us the booking.
Yeah.
And it was a confidence boost because he felt like we were good enough to be booked there.
Yeah.
And then he stuck up for us when I didn't know what the fuck work was. He finally spoke up and said, "Yeah, he's gonna do fine." He said, "I've been working with him. He'll do fine."
Yeah.
And Butch kind of said, "Okay," and that was the end of that until after the match. After the match, come back. Butch was cool. He didn't say he did a great job or nothing. He didn't. He was just cool with me after that.
Yeah.
He might have said "good job" or something like that, but that's about the extent of it. But it was the end of the show, and we're getting ready to leave, and Sapphire comes over to me, and we're talking, me, her, Sam, and the McGirt girl. Buddy McGirt used to run, I want to say he ran shows around St. Louis. But he had this daughter who did ring announcing, and she was there too, and it was her, Sapphire, and they were talking to me and Sam, but Sapphire looked at me and she said, "You need to be up there with the big boys." And I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, it took me several years later for what she said to click. She told me that look me dead in the eyes over and over. She said, "You need to be up there with the big boys." And I just said, "Thank you." I didn't know what to say. I'm like, "Thank you. I really appreciate it."
Yeah.
But it just didn't click what she was telling me. She was a cool lady. I think we got to work on 2 or 3 shows maybe with her, and then I don't think it was long after that, a couple of years maybe, she died. I don't really remember how long the difference is.
Yeah.
How much time we running on?
An hour and 45 minutes.
Is it
almost.
still recording good?
Yeah.
Do we keep going or do we?
If you want to, I can sit as long as you can.
Well, you the question asker. Ask your question.
What comes after Butch? Where do we go from there?
All right, from there we go to Texas, and I want to say Butch. I don't know if Texas was Henry Hubbard ran shows or what. There's 2 different guys that Butch ran the show. He was on, but it wasn't his show. He wasn't the promoter.
Yeah.
I want to say Henry Hubbard was Texas, which Simon got us booked there too, but he didn't go. I want to say it was Simon. Now, now that I think about it, it might have been Motley that got us in Texas. Nick Street. It was Henry Hubbard in Missouri
Yeah.
that was the promoter of the shows Butch was running and booking and calling the shots for. And Nick Street, a guy named Nick Street, opened up a company in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
So Motley's the one that actually got us booked there, all the way down to Austin. They didn't just book us; they booked me to work because they also booked our ring, and that was one thing we did when we first got into business. We had the idea if we buy a ring and we rent it out, it might be an end to working these shows, make connections.
Yeah.
Which it worked. I mean, it was just a hell of a lot of work, especially an old school ring like we had, as heavy as fuck, tons of wood. You work your ass off setting it up. It wasn't no 45-minute setup. So go to Texas. Bob Orton was in Texas. Booked several different guys in the show, but he booked out to Texas. I want to say it was maybe called the Texas Coliseum. It's where Terry Funk and all these guys had wrestled in Austin. I may be wrong about what the actual name is. Big old giant metal building, bleachers. I don't know. It probably held several thousand people. We didn't draw no several thousand people.
Yeah.
So we go to Texas. Motley gets us there, and we break the ring, go all the way down to Austin. Matter of fact, we're headed to Austin. This is, I want to say 1993, late 93. Yeah. Whenever Kurt Cobain shot himself, we were headed to Austin with the ring for the first shot with Nick Street and his company. And we heard it on the radio that they found Kurt Cobain dead, that he shot himself. So whatever year that was, that's when we were headed to Texas. And
I can tell you what year that was.
we started out in the big Coliseum. We didn't draw, I don't know. There might have been a few hundred people there. At that time, I'm so nervous, and you got them blinders on. Half the time, you can't even see the people or hear them once you're out there. Me personally. So, like I said, there might have been a few hundred. There might even been a few more than that. There might have been less than that. I don't know. But so instead of running that building again, the next time we go, I want to say it's about 3 weeks later, they've done bought a smaller building that they're going to do their shows, a weekly show, and it's going to be a TV taping too.
Yeah.
Nick Street, Motley, he's a friend of Motley's, but he is some sort of TV guy. I'm green, so I don't know a lot about it, but I want to say he wrote a script or something that got produced at one point in his life, and he was a wrestler too, and so he was going to try running his own company. That didn't last very long.
Now, are you healed through this whole thing?
Yeah, most of the time I'm healed. Actually, in Texas, now that I think about it, I worked this Iranian gimmick guy. He wasn't Iranian, but he had what do you call it? Gimmick type.
Yeah.
And this was long before any of that was a thing. I mean, a bad thing.
Yeah.
Where guys couldn't do that gimmick. It was before that. And I guess I was a babyface because he was a heel. Really, it was the very first show they did, and he was definitely a heel. What I was, I'm assuming I had to have been a babyface, but once again, there wasn't no definite plan of what we were going to do. It was like, you're going against y'all got this much time, he's going over, go do it, you know what I mean? Y'all do whatever, figure it out.
You still working under a hood at this time?
Yeah, I'm still under a hood.
Sam still tagging along?
Oh yeah.
You and Sam were pretty much always, for the most part, always together.
Yeah, especially at this time. We were always together up until probably 1998, and we kind of started veering off from each other.
Yeah.
Which, good for both of us in the end, I think.
Yeah.
You get comfortable with each other, and then we're brothers, so
you fighting off.
So we fucking fight. Look, we fucking fight. There ain't no telling how many times we come back after a match, and I mean literally hitting the dressing room, arguing with each other about who fucked what up. And I mean,
y'all both hard headed as can be. So
I mean, we be fighting too. So you know, but we were pretty well together the whole time until 98, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And then we kind of started 99, 2000.
y'all still were even off and on through.
Yeah,
then.
but in 2000 we kind of split, you know, for a while. But I don't guess we've ever been back together since then.
Yeah, he took off with a bunch of other folks too, because he's managed a lot of other folks throughout the years too.
That dude has managed around our part of the country. He's managed through a certain amount of years. It's hard to find matches that he ain't in.
Well, I gotta give him credit. I mean, you know I love him, but around this area, he's really one of the biggest managers for indie wrestling around this area. Anybody knows who.
See, at this time there was no such thing as indie wrestling. It was outlaw wrestling.
Outlaw wrestling, yeah.
If you wasn't on Jerry Lawler around here, if you wasn't with the Lawler group, you was outlaw wrestling. It wasn't just around here. There wasn't no indie wrestling.
Right.
If you wasn't with the dominant promotion that had the TV and the name guys, you were an outlaw company.
Right.
We were outlaws, you know. So.
Well, let's get to Moondog. Let's start off with you with Moondog.